Restore my soul. Oh, let me lay down in pastures green, most beautiful sight I've ever seen. Refresh my spirit, your mind, with the chaos far behind by the quiet water. So peaceful, so calm, resting in your quiet water. Restore soul. Oh, yeah. Gotta lift it up. Feeling heavy, feeling low. Seeds of sorrow start to grow. Burdened by the weight of worldly care. Feels like too much for me to bear. You are my spirit once again. By the cool and gentle. You wash the dust from off my way. And my heart remembers how to sing. You uplift my spirit. Yeah. The quiet of my lonely. Chase away the deepest gloom. With a single word, a touch aside. Your loving spirit reconnects with mine. You wash the dust from off my wings. My heart remembers how to sing. Spirit. Oh, oh, praise peace and the sky. See the sky. The smile on your face. Lovely my spirit. Lovely fire. Oh,
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tangent Demo Day Cohort 1, hosted by Greylight. on this beautiful 21st day of July 2026. I'd like to welcome you as we go on an exciting journey today. I encourage you to sit tight, fasten your seatbelts, and let's have a fantastic time. My name is Christine Vihishima, and I'll be your anchor for today. Before we get right into it, I'd like to welcome our wonderful guests and participants who are here today. I can see Mr. Joba here with us. Welcome, sir. Welcome, Philip. Welcome, Caleb. Welcome, Damola. Hi, Tolani. I can see Armstrong in the room. I can see Victor Wave. Yes. I can see Gbugbemi. Would like to also welcome Suzanne, Great Solomon, Peace Akin. A special welcome to Mr. Munir Boba, the Executive Director of ARM Investments. Today we are in for an exciting time. Would like to appreciate you for making it here on time. And we trust that we are about to have a very, very wonderful experience today. Before we begin, we're going to just give a few more minutes, 2 more minutes, and then we will get right into our agenda for today. You're very welcome.
My cup is running over now. Your blessings pouring out somehow. More than I could ever dream. You love me more than it may seem. You're filling me with joy. Your goodness flowing. It's an overflow. Your love pouring down from heaven above. More than enough, more than I need. Satisfy me. It's an overflow. Can't contain all the blessings. Oh, you've opened up the window well. Your favor I cannot hide. Still shaking, running free, running free. Your abundance covers me. Your abundance covers me. Oh, filling me with joy. Your divine is flowing. And overflow. Your love and down from heaven. More than I need. Oh, satisfy me. It's an overflow. And contain the blessings. Oh, oh, yeah. Your fullness I receive. Grace upon grace I do believe. Everything that you might will see. And all the blessings. Yes, I know I am over. Stop striving, start trusting. Listen.
Mic check.
Mm.
Test the mic.
Try to push the wall
Mic check. Test the
down
mic.
with a furrow brow and frown. Use my muscle in my mind. Let my peace far behind. Thinking I can make it happen. Keep the ship from cracking. But the mountain didn't
Can you confirm if
move.
you can hear
I
me?
had nothing left to prove. I know my power. But by my spirit, says the Lord, it's very hour. Put down your sword. The battle is not yours to fight. Step into the marvelous light. Spirit, take the lead. That is all. Zechariah saw the vision, clearing up his indecision. Grace to the.
All right. It's 12:02 p.m., at least West African time. Thank you for joining us once again from wherever in the world you are joining us from. You know, the beautiful thing about technology is that we can hold amazing meetings and events like this without having distance as a barrier. Once again, my name is Christine, and I'll be your anchor for today. So I would like to get the pulse of the room. We have the chat box open. I'd like you to drop an emoji to show how you feel today. I feel excited, and I'll probably drop a dancing emoji in the chat box. But if you can give me a thumbs up, let me see the pulse. I'd like to experience the pulse. Amazing, amazing. I'm loving the responses. I'd like to see more responses. How are you feeling? Show us in the chat box. Are you excited? Are you anxious to the founders? Are you anticipating? Are you indifferent? Full of energy. I love that. If I could pass across some of my energy to you, I would right now. Otolu is giving me, a salute. I salute you back too. Any more responses? How do you feel? Today's an exciting day, and it's actually the culmination of a journey of 12 weeks. And 12 weeks of knowledge, of partnerships, of learning, of growing. I love that. Damola feels jiggy. Love that. Thank you so much for spicing up the atmosphere. I'd like to just welcome a few more people who have joined us that I couldn't welcome earlier. Welcome, Williams. I don't think I welcomed Mr. Tolu Kolawole earlier. Thank you so much for being here. Oh yes, Prince Tutu, I didn't see here earlier. Thank you for being here. Olaoluwa Samuel, Digong, welcome. Thank you for being here with us. Peace, Akin, you're very, very welcome. I can also see Memnim Essien. Thank you so much for being here. Osa, thank you for being here. Benjamin Udoku, thank you for being here. Folu, thank you for being here. Charles Deru, thank you for being here. Adebayo, Blessed Frank, Keziah Agbo, thank you all for being here and for being here on time. All right. To start us off this afternoon, I would like to call on Mr. Tolu Kolawole, who is the city lead at Faith Tech Newcastle, to give us the opening prayer. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, Christine. It's really lovely to be here, and I'm really excited and looking forward to what today's got to hold. So let's say a word of prayer before we start. So if you just want to take a breath, I know so much excitement and just be in that place of focus on God. Abba Father, thank you, God, for today. It is the day that you have made. We rejoice and we're glad in it. Thank you for this program. Thank you for every one of the founders who, oh God, are creating something amazing. They're creating things that would advance your kingdom. They are creating things, oh God, that will shape culture, that would impact lives, that will make, oh God, this world a renewed place as you intended in Christ Jesus. And so, Lord, I just bless them. I pray, oh God, that you would renew their strength. Thank you for Greylight. Thank you for this idea whose time has come. And Lord, I just pray, oh Heavenly Father, that everything that would happen today, Lord, will honor you, which will glorify Jesus. And I pray, oh God, that we will be transformed by the experience. I pray that it will be a place of encounter. And Lord, I just invite the presence of the Holy Spirit to inspire, to energize, to guide, to lead, and to direct, oh God. I pray for the host of today, Christine. I pray, Lord, that you would also grant her the grace, oh God, to carry this event, oh God. And I pray for every aspect of it, Lord. And I pray for the things that are being built, oh God. Lord, I pray that they will have an impact for eternity, Lord. And I pray, Heavenly Father, that you alone will be glorified at the end of today. Thank you, Heavenly Father. Be with us, O great Lord. For in Jesus' precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Mr. Kolawole. Thank you so much. At this point, we will be doing some housekeeping. And I'll just be taking us through our housekeeping for today. Please keep yourself muted unless you are invited to speak. This is just to maintain law and order in the house today. Ensure that you use the chat box to ask your questions and drop your feedback. You can be sure that our team will surface a selection to the floor. Please note that this session is being recorded for, purposes of, record keeping and accountability as well. And most interestingly, a part I do not want you to miss today is that a networking room will be open after today's program for informal conversations with the founders today. Now, I'd like to just throw in as an additional housekeeping that if you'd want to get the best experience of today's session, just go to the top of your screen, if you're using a laptop especially, click on the button that says layout and choose the option side-by-side speaker. It would give you the best experience of today. Now, before we continue, I would like to give a shout out to a few of our Greylight Tangent faculty that are here with us today. We have Shola Oshinoiki, we have Williams, Fatayo, and Memnim Essien. Thank you so much for being here with us. We also have with us Mr. David Food as well. Thank you for being here with us. You guys are truly amazing. And the Tangent Cohort will not be where they are today without you. Now, as we continue, some of us here may be wondering, what is Greylight? What do they do? What are they passionate about? What are they about? Greylight is actually a venture and capital platform at the intersection of media, entertainment, and technology. At Greylight, we are building and backing founders, creatives, and institutions that are designed to shape culture over long term. Now, we exist on the conviction that culture is shaped not just by ideas, but by systems, the platforms, distribution infrastructure, and defaults that determine what scales, what travels, and what becomes normal over time. At Greylight, we believe that whoever owns those systems ultimately shape culture at scale. We build and back early stage founders who are building Africa-owned alternatives to the incumbent platforms that currently own Africa's creative economy from inside with excellence, discipline, and a long view. So that is what we do at Greylight. And today, like we said, we're going to be presenting a cohort of 6 founders that have been building over the past 12 weeks. At this point, I'd like to invite on stage Mr. Shola Oshinoiki, the founder of Josh Leadership Academy, who will be graciously giving us our welcome remarks. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Christine, for anchoring us so well so far. You've already welcomed everybody, but I just want to re-emphasize my welcome to. So welcome to all the guests, the founders themselves who are the stars of today, and the amazing faculty that have been shepherding these founders for the last 12 weeks. I mean, it's not in my brief, but I think I can't go on without doing this, which is to thank Mr. Joba Adejumo for trusting God and stepping out in faith in creating Greylight and taking the step of faith to establish Tangent Cohort 1, which is why we're here. For the founders, you spent 12 weeks of formation, 6 of you working alongside each other, helping each other, and being enabled by a redemptive faculty of experts and of many of them who are on the call today. So again, thank you to the faculty. Hopefully you've been challenged not just on your product and the product you're building, but also on your character, on your conviction, and getting clarity on the call of Christ on your life. What makes this a different kind of demo day is that we are anchoring all of this on Christ. Yes, we want to see a check at some point. We want to see products sold, but ultimately we want to see the will of God being done. For the 6 founders, you've actually been through something unique. You've been through a redemptive positioning and posturing, with excellence being demonstrated to you by the key faculty, but also by the team at Greylight who have walked alongside you, whether it's in your office hours or in your homework or in your building out your product. And because of that, I want to really pause and thank God for this opportunity to be doing this. And we hope to see this around the world even more. What's especially important is that the faculty that have served these 6 founders has been global. You know, there's been faculty from the continent, there've been faculty from Europe, there've been faculty from the UK and from the US, which is an amazing thing to be able to do. So thanks again to all the faculty, and thank you to all the guests who are here today, who have taken the time out of your busy schedules to be part of this demo day. Today really belongs to the founders who have worked really hard, and we are here to listen to how their story have evolved over the last 12 weeks and what God has placed on their hearts to commit to the world. Let me conclude this welcome address, with this verse from Philippians chapter 1, verse 6. For I am confident of this very thing, that he who began a good work in you will perfect it unto the day of Christ Jesus. And the reason why that's important is that, yes, we have equipped you with skills, we've equipped you with knowledge, we've equipped you with a go-to-market strategy, but the highest equipper of all, the author of your faith, the one who brought you here, is the one that is able to perfect all that you do. And I hope today, as we listen to you, we will see not just the products you've built, but the character that's been formed in you by Christ. So welcome to Tangent Cohort 001 Demo Day, and have a great day. Thank you. Back to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Shola. Thank you. I'm clapping over here. Please, if your hands are not too busy, can we give Mr. Shola a virtual round of applause? Thank you very much. At this juncture, I'd like to just give a shout out to one of our faculty who's here with us, Mr. Charles Daryl. Thank you so much. Once again, we appreciate our Tangent faculty because our founders would have not gotten to this point without the amazing support of our faculty. Thank you very much. Now, moving on, we have with us today an outstanding set of panelists who will be giving feedback to each of our founders after they present their pitches. And I'm pleased to be introducing them to us all today. If your hands are not too busy when I make the introductions, please give each of them a virtual round of applause. We have with us Mr. Bolu Olatunji. Mr. Bolu is a two-time founder and storytelling consultant who has helped over 100 founders across the Middle East and Sub-Saharan Africa raise more than $12 million through the power of compelling narrative. Thank you so much, Mr. Bolu, for joining us today. We appreciate you. Next up, we have Mr. Benjamin Udoku, who is a faith-driven venture builder, an ecosystem connector who has partnered with over 80 VC funds and supported fundraising efforts for more than 250 startups across Sub-Saharan Africa. Please, can we give him a virtual round of applause? Thank you so much. And finally, the icing on the cake, I would say, we have Mrs. Suzanne Ogunleye, who is an institution builder and leadership strategist who has spent over 12 years designing the systems, programs, and partnerships that help Africa's most mission-driven organizations move from vision to sustainable execution. She's been recognized by Forbes Africa, Vanguard, and the Microscope Impact Awards for her contribution to social change. Thank you all, our amazing panelists, for being here with us. I can't see your virtual round of applauses. Please give our panelists a virtual round of applause. Thank you. These are seasoned experts who are here with us today. All right. At this point, we will now give room for our first ventures to make their presentations. And this is the exciting part. Now, the format will go as follows. After each venture makes their presentation, the feedback panel will share feedback with us, and then we will also take questions or feedback from our audience. Therefore, please feel free to use the chat box to share your thoughts. Like earlier said, at the end of all presentations today, there will be a post-networking room open for you to meet each and every one of the ventures and speak further with them. So please do not miss out on that. All right. With a virtual drum roll, please make welcome our first venture, Auxtoria. The founders of Auxtoria are Gbugbemi, Makpokpomi, and Ugochi Onwukwe. Now, Auxtoria is a values-driven children's content platform for African families. Over to you, Team Auxtoria. Please welcome them with a virtual round of applause.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. Can you confirm you can hear me?
Perfectly well.
Perfectly well.
Thank you. All right, please, I'd like my slide up. All right. Hi, everybody. Good day. My name is Gbugbemi, and I'm the founder of Auxtoria. At Auxtoria, we are intentional about raising the next generation on purpose. Next slide, please. Once upon a time, we lived in a society where an elderly person would sit to tell stories and children would gather around to listen. We call these stories tales by moonlight. These were the stories that strengthened our character, our values, and they actually kept us rooted in culture and our identity. But now the world is now a global village driven rapidly by technology. And as a result of that, children get their content online. Over 70% of children content are often uncurated or misaligned with the values that the parents are trying to instill in their children. Take, for instance, there's a narrative that a child can be any gender they want to be. You know, this has left the generation to be formed by default and not by design. Because of this gap, we created Auxtoria. Next slide. Auxtoria is a safe, value-driven home for children. And our goal is to create a platform where children can discover stories, audio, video, and interactive play sections that is intentionally designed to build character, strengthen their values, and shape their identity and faith. We believe Auxtoria is needed in a time like this because children are spending more time on the internet than ever before. So there's a need for a safe, value, and trusted-driven platform like Auxtoria. Next slide, please. The Auxtoria app is currently available on the Google Play Store and the App Store. How it works is the parent or the guardian can actually create an account. After creating an account, they create profile for their children based on the age group of their child, from age 5 to 7, age 8 to 10, and from age 11 to 13. Based on their age group, they get to see curated content like stories, video, even comics. And there's also an interactive play session that they engage with based on the stories and the video that they read and watch. Next slide, please. So far, we have over 170 plus active and registered users on the platform. We've partnered and reached out to over 2,000 families. We also partnered with about 5 schools and churches. And on our creators marketplace, which is where our creators write stories and make their videos, we have onboarded over 10 plus African creatives. Next slide, please. So our business model, we have a recurring revenue through our subscription, the monthly and the yearly plan, and also institutional licensing with schools and churches. We do this to reach schools and families at scale. Also, we also take a percentage from the creators' revenue share on our platform. Next slide. There are several platforms that exist today. We have the open internet, we have the traditional books that we all know that children read and consume information from. We also have institutions like the church and schools, and also the entertainment platform that exists today for children. But each of these services have several gaps. For instance, the open internet is not safe and ideal for a child. The traditional books that children read, they just consume content. It's not really interactive as it's supposed to be. Auxtoria bridged the gap by providing, a safe value platform for children, makes them have an interactive engagement and personalize their learning experience as they grow. Next slide. Auxtoria, we are positioned to actually serve children in their formative age from age 5 to age 13. So we work closely with their stakeholders, like the parent, for instance, who wants safe, value-driven experience for their children without compromising values. And also we work closely with schools and churches who are seeking to extend their children's character education beyond the 4 walls of classroom and also beyond Sunday school. Next slide. The team behind Auxtoria consists of me and my co-founder, Ugochi. I have over 5 years of experience building software and digital platform, while my co-founder is an expert in brand, marketing, and communication strategies. Together, we believe we are the best team because we are both passionate about building technology and also building value-driven experiences for the next generation. Next slide. Our go-to-market consists of our go-to-market consists of our direct-to-parent outreach through our social media, partnering with trusted schools and churches to bring Auxtoria to families, and also working closely and collaborating with organizations that support and educate children. Finally, we also have a diaspora market because we know that African children are out there, so who want to know their identity? So we work closely with agencies to push Auxtoria to people who are not also in the country. Next slide. Now to our acts. We are looking for pilot partners, strategic introduction, most especially to put Auxtoria into the hands of children. For instance, we are seeking 3 things. The first is want an introduction to school admin and key decision makers in school, like the PTA chairman and parent association of school. Secondly, we are also seeking for people to introduce us to children church ministry leaders so that they can push Auxtoria to their church community. And lastly, we're also seeking for mission and line organization, connection with them and partnering with them to help us scale and put Auxtoria where it's needed to be. Thank you. Next slide. So at Auxtoria, we often say that we are not just building an app, we are actually making an impact. And our goal is to actually build a movement that lasts a lifetime in the hearts of children. We're not just building an app. We see ourselves in the next 3 to 5 years as a platform where African children can grow in character, learning, and in faith, one story at a time. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gbugbemi. Thank you. You did an amazing job. Thank you so much. At this point, we'll be taking feedback from our panel. And I'd like to find out, Mr. Bolu, do you have anything you'd like to say?
None at the moment. Good press.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bolu. Mr. Benjamin, over to you.
Yeah, thank you so much for the presentation. Yeah, this is particularly interesting because at my role as faith-driven entrepreneur, I get to partner with churches and ministries, both where I get to engage both entrepreneurs and teenagers, right? Because we have programs for teenagers as well. So I find this interesting. So speaking about your ask, I think we can take that conversation offline to see how I might connect you with some of the churches that are already within our ecosystem at Faith-Driven Entrepreneur. But yeah, outside of that, I think very good presentation, by the way. I just have one question. It's typically two, but I'll just collapse it. How do you vet creative partners? Right. And secondly, I don't think you really highlighted the type of content that's on your platform. Is it around creative thinking? Is it entertainment, infotainment? Like what exactly?
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Benjamin. So first, you asked how do we vet the creative writers? So we have a creators marketplace, and the first thing we do is before we onboard anybody, they first of all go through screening. So we have to verify them. They put in their social, because these are the people that are actually building the content, writing the content. So we have to first of all verify their profile before we accept them into our creators marketplace. That's one. Then secondly, we have a group of Auxtoria heroes. We call them Auxtoria heroes. They are people, I believe everybody who is also a believer of what children consume can also join us as being an Auxtoria hero. So Auxtoria heroes are family, parents, teachers, pastors who actually believe in the movement and the agenda of what Auxtoria is. So they are a volunteer group who actually vets every content and every story that these creators that are already vetted write. So once the Auxtoria will vet and approve, then it now gets to our own internal team who actually read and review before we put it out there for the children to read. And for your second question, talk about what kind of stories. So we have stories in text formats, we have audios, we have videos, and also comics. We're also partnering with people who write comics as well. So it's more like a marketplace where they can get both text, both videos, and audio stories.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Gbugbemi. Mrs. Suzanne, would you like to say something to Auxtoria?
All right. Hi. Thank you. Hi, Auxtoria. Well done. I think I was particularly drawn to your presentation because I have 3 children and I know the battle we have with YouTube and them being on screen all the time. So I did understand that you have traction, and I was excited to see that part where you had mentioned, I think, 2,000 families and over 100 users. But I think I would have appreciated also seeing the number of those users that are actually paying users, and also have a great understanding of your current retention strategy. So how do you also retain the users that you have on your platform? So I probably would have been able to understand that if you had shared, your financials as well, but then I know that that might be very sensitive at this moment. So that's my feedback for you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Suzanne. Gbugbemi, I'm sure you caught that feedback. At this point, we'll be moving on to the next venture as we have no further comments in the comments section. Next up, we will be taking a presentation from SpiritOS. SpiritOS is founded by Prince Tutu, and it is a personalized devotional system helping everyday believers grow through adaptive study and reflection. Over to you, SpiritOS. Please let's welcome Priest Tutu with a virtual round of applause.
Yes. Please confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you.
Right. Okay. I would just like to ask and start with a simple question. What if the biggest challenge affecting most Christians today isn't just access to God's word, but a personalized application of God's word? Today, more than ever before, we have more Bibles. We have more sermons everywhere. We have more Christian content than ever before. And definitely, we have more devotional materials than we could ever imagine, and Bible apps, of course. But one question keeps coming up by many believers. One pertinent question, which is, where do I start? Hello, somebody is asking if I can turn my volume up. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. All right. Most people are saying they can't hear me. That's why I want to confirm. Yeah. All right. Okay. So most people ask the question, which is, where do I start? Damola, please. People are saying they can't hear me. So
Hi, Prince. I think you might need to either change your audio out input or speak louder so we can hear you clear.
okay, is it better now?
I think it's better.
Okay. Sorry, is it better now so that I just...
Yes, just increase the volume of your voice as you talk, then we could be able to hear you much better.
Okay, I'm actually speaking through my microphone, so that's...
All right, so just continue.
All right, thank you very much. Okay. Yes. So the question most people begin to ask is, where do I start from? And that is a pertinent question many people ask. And this is the question that led us to build SpiritOS, a devotional companion that grows with you. Next slide. Where Bible study, prayer, journaling, and reflection combines into one single experience that knows your season and adapts to your journey as a believer. Hello, my name is Prince Tutu, founder of SpiritOS, as I've said before. And the journey into SpiritOS is very simple. Next slide. It starts with just a simple onboarding process that lands you straight to your aha moment, where we ask a simple question, how is your heart? Because we believe that everything starts with the state of your heart. And users are just able to simply voice out or write out whatever it is they are feeling at that particular moment. And they get a personalized word tailored to whatever it is they are facing. And they grow through the conversation from there on. Next slide. Currently, we have, go back please. Currently, we have about 52 users. Okay, slide. Okay. Yeah, currently we have about 52 users who are testing and have had real conversations with SpiritOS so far. And chief among them all is our AI companion chats, which are giving about 367 highlighted messages. And we've had about 159 steady, curated Bible study parts which have been generated for most users. Next slide. Okay. Now, SpiritOS is definitely for believers, and we are targeting believers of all walks of life, from students to young professionals to growing believers to new believers. We believe that SpiritOS is able to meet each and everyone where they are, irrespective of where they are in their journey. Next slide. Okay, great tools already exist, like YouVersion, Bible AI, and these are amazing tools. But one of the issues is that many of these tools are not able to connect to the journey of the believer in a very personalized manner. And this is the gap that SpiritOS is trying to fill up. Next slide. Yeah, this is my team member and I. We believe that God has placed us at such a time as this to build SpiritOS, because we are also believers who have lived through this problem. And God has given us this solution at such a time as this to present it to the body of Christ. Next slide. At the moment, word of mouth, personal referrals, social media is how we currently reach out. But we are aggressively reaching out to churches, campus fellowships, to form strategic alliances to be able to scale SpiritOS to many people. Next slide. Yes, we believe that everybody here listening to me right now is a potential user of SpiritOS, and we will need your help to help us shape personalized discipleship. Hence, we are asking for just warm intros to church, at least 10 churches, 5 campus fellowships, 3 Christian organizations, and even Christian leaders or Christian educators who could help us integrate SpiritOS in their communities. Next slide. Yes, I'd like to end with just a short story. Just days ago, a friend of mine, Tolani, she's probably listening to this presentation at the moment, was in a really, really dark place. She has, of course, prayed. She has fasted about the issue, but she needed the right word and the right scripture for that situation in which she was facing. And after using SpiritOS, she gave me a very interesting feedback, which was she got the right word that she needed and the right prayer, which she needed to pray for. And she immediately became calm. And that right there is why we have built SpiritOS. That right there is why we need SpiritOS replicated in the lives of every believer, because we want SpiritOS to shape the journey of Christians in a much more personalized, scripturally grounded way to meet them at their journey, wherever they are. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prince Tutu. Thank you very much for that exceptional, straight to the point, and very, very practical presentation. Thank you very much. Before we proceed to our feedback session, I'd like to just take a little break to recognize someone amazing, exceptional, and of good repute who's here with us. We have with us Dr. Okey Enelamah, who is the chairman of ACA and the former Nigerian Minister of Trade, Industry, and Investments. This is a person that we will say is of timber and caliber, gracing our occasion today. Thank you very much, sir, for being here. I'd just like to find out if you have a word or two to say to us at this point in time, sir.
Thank you very much. And no, I'm glad to be here. Joba, has been following up with me to attend, and I told him I would make an appearance, given that, it's, he made it easy for me to join online. I see it's an online meeting anyway. I listened to what was said. I think anything that can encourage our younger generation to really embrace the word of God, the word of truth, the word of life, anything that can, make people to help people to catch the revelation that there's a better way, to this life we're living. Because as you know, life, certainly in Nigeria, in Lagos, in Africa, in the emerging markets, in the world, even as at large, it's a bit of a scramble. People are scrambling, and yet, it's all in the book. There's a higher way. I I have, worked successfully in business, in the public service. I've pastored, I've done any number of things, but and I keep coming to the same conviction. In fact, I'm giving a talk which I was just preparing for on Saturday, and I called it the title of my message is Ambassadors of Christ. And what I'm really trying to, the point I'm trying to get across to people is that God is looking for ambassadors, right? People that can really showcase that serving God can really lead to a better quality life, particularly in the world we live in today. A lot of people think it's a nice thing to say, it's a religious thing to say, what would they say? But if you go and check, everybody is still following the world and cutting corners and cheating and, just taking advantage of their neighbors and doing all the things that you cannot go up on a pulpit and say. And yet we know that for those that actually pursue this life with integrity, for those that not only pursue it with integrity, but are prepared to stand up, to be counted, God rewards them. God rewards them. And I'm a living testimony. I have seen the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. I've seen him in the marketplace. I've seen him in public service. I've seen him in all over. And we have this thing called apostles of righteousness apostles in the marketplace, where it's really apostles of righteousness in the marketplace. So I'm very happy to see a group of young folks like you guys, because I can see all the faces. These are the people you want to really be, carrying this message forward. If only you can live it with integrity, I think God will bless you. And so I'm so happy to have been invited to join you, and to encourage you and to tell you that this life, if you will live it for Christ, if you will live it with integrity, if you will live it with, if you will serve God in private, meaning that when nobody's looking, you know what I mean? You can be a man after God's own heart, like he talked about David in Acts 13:22. It says, and when he removed him, he was talking about King Saul. He says he raised up for them a king, or he's raised up for them a king, David, the son of Jesse. And he said, I have found David, the son of Jesse, a man after my own heart, who would do all my will. And it was the heart that he saw. I saw the previous speaker talking about the heart and devotionals and all those good things. But the important thing is, if you give God your heart and walk with him, I think God will exceed your expectations. So again, thank you very much for having me. I love what you're doing, and I want to say, keep going, and God, you will not regret it. At least I'm older, so I can certainly tell you, my mentor used to say that you live life forward, you understand it when you look back. I'm now in my 60s, I can tell you that this journey is worth it. If you can really pursue it with integrity of heart, God will surprise you positively. God will exceed your expectations. You said I was a minister. I was literally in my office, and I was at home. I had gone to church on a Sunday, and I got 2 calls telling me that they want me to come and serve the government. I'm like, I'm not sure I'm ready. But like they say, the rest is history. That's how I headed to Abuja, served as minister, and I'm back here as chairman of my firm, and we're still on this march. So thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Okay, Joba, you want to say something?
No. Thank you, sir. That's all.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Okey. I picked something that you said that struck me. You said, live life forward. And I think that's a charge for each and every one of us who are here. You have heard from the older, more experienced icon that has told us to live life forward. All right. I'd also like to just quickly recognize Mrs. Nwane Nwowu, who is a managing partner at SBP Ventures. We also have with us a representative of Dr. Tochukwu McFoy, popularly known as Dr. Foy, who is the founder of Energize Africa. He is well represented here today by Mr. Samuel Ola Oluwa. We also have with us Mr. Emeka Mba, who is the CEO of Bud Global. Today is amazing. We have so many movers and shakers in the house today, and I consider it a privilege to be sharing the stage with them. At this point, we will quickly take feedback for SpiritOS. I'd like to start with Mrs. Suzanne Ogunleye. Ma, do you have any feedback for SpiritOS?
All right, thank you, Kristen. Just a quick one, and well done, Prince Tutu. I'm not sure which one's the first name, so I'll just say well done, Prince. So my question, and I think I'm particularly curious about this because I personally, I use ChatGPT sometimes when I want to get more insights on a Bible passage, right? But my fear is for new believers. I understand, what you're trying to achieve with SpiritOS and you ensuring that discipleship is personal. But we all know that AI has its issues sometimes. And when it comes to safeguarding with AI, there have been different theories out there and different researches out there that sometimes you can't control the information that it gives. So I just want to know if you have any safeguards in place for new believers in particular from being misguided or getting the wrong information, because they are literally like babies in the spirits, right? And they might just take away whatever they see. So how do you safeguard that?
Yes, thank you very much for that question. I think before we started SpiritOS, that was the first thing we had to tackle, because this is, like you said, this is a spiritual platform that is meant to grow the lives of believers. So we took time in making sure that the first thing we tackled was, if AI is going to be given this kind of information, then we didn't want to rely on just the normal LLMs that we have out there, the Geminis or the ChatGPT and all of that. So we had to find a way of making sure that, apart from the AI that we have, we make sure that it is also trained with theological sources, so that any information that is going out has actually gone through what we call our RAG system, which is the source, to make sure that it is filtered first of all before it is presented to the user. So anything that is coming from SpiritOS, that is why when you check the answers from SpiritOS and you compare it to the answers that you get to ChatGPT, you will notice a huge difference, because this is theologically grounded. It is not just spitting answers for you. It is giving you information that has been grounded and trained through theological sources. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prince, for your response. Thank you. Mr. Benjamin Udoku, do you have any feedback for SpiritOS?
Yes, very briefly. Thank you for presenting, Prince. I would say that when it comes to pitching, I think you could have done better. I really enjoyed the slides, but the delivery wasn't as great. So that's something to take back to work on the actual pitch. Yeah, so that the delivery is very much in line with your presentation, and you can get the needed conviction you need from the room. All right. Second thing is, this is more like flipping the coin as to what Suzanne shared, which is when you get to approach churches and you're talking about this solution and how it's AI driven, churches can be actually very sensitive to technologies that are AI backed and all that, because of course they have their doctrines to protect and all of that. So how are you navigating that conversation?
Yeah, I think thank you very much for the question. We've gotten this kind of questions before, and one of the ways we are trying to deal with that aspect is especially to churches, is this tool is not disrupting whatever it is you are doing in your church. It is actually more like a service arm of the church. It is not replacing pastors. It is not replacing the word of God. It is actually helping believers, even in the church, stay grounded in whatever it is they are going to be doing. So the doctrine they are going to be learning in churches is not going to change. This is just more like something to help even those church members stay grounded consistently. Because the question has always been, in a consistent manner, how do I stay grounded? How do I continue in this? And this is what we are trying to do. Another thing that I also want to talk about is, in terms of the information that is being given, I tell people that over the years, we've had different medium. We've had concordances, we've had books, we've had devotionals, we've had videos, even sermons. All of these are all information, which the Holy Spirit breathes on, that brings life to the believer. And what SpiritOS is presenting is also another form of information that the Holy Spirit is also going to breathe upon to give life to the believer. So whatever is being presented It's an information that the Holy Spirit will bring it upon, just like you have your devotionals, your books and your sermons and things like that. So that's exactly what we are doing.
Thank you
Thank you.
so much, Prince. Thank you so much. All right. Mr. Bolu, do you have any feedback for SpiritOS?
I think I'll wait till the third startup, the third venture, because I've seen some similarity. I think it would be nice to address across, the first cohort. So let me listen to the third venture.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, I think I can see something from Mr. Shola. I'd like to read it for SpiritOS. Can churches customize the outputs that the church members can get? For example, if the church is studying a topic in church. Prince Tutu, over to you.
Yes, so we are currently working to create a space that we call the church mode, which is if churches want to have like a personalized way of doing their own things. Maybe they are studying a particular topic, they have like their church member come onto that place and get that topic being studied in, but targeted to each individual in their own different formats and ways. So that is something that we are going to be working on for the church mode aspect. But for now, it's not available yet. It's something we work on.
Thank you very much, Prince. So Mr. Shola has actually opened the floor for the audience to also give their feedback. I was going to drop a reminder that even though our panelists are here to give constructive feedback to our founders, you also, our audience, are permitted and allowed to share your thoughts and ask your questions in the chat box as well. So do well to engage with us on that level. Thank you so much, Prince Tutu. Thank you very much. We will be moving on to our third venture for today. Our third venture to present in this first round will be Aya. The founders of Aya are Philip Chime and Daniel Ayeni. And Aya is a faith-based dating platform for Christians who are serious about intentional relationship. The stage is yours, Team Aya. Please let's welcome them with a virtual round of applause.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much, Christian. Okay, well, we are living in a world that is mostly connected right now, but yet we find ourselves drowning in a pool of quiet epidemic of loneliness. Meet my friend Okey. Next slide, please. Meet my friend Okey, who is 34 years old, with over 7 years dating experience, 3 apps installed on his phone with so many unread messages. He has field talking stages and so many unplanned and planned dates not accounted for, right? And this is time, money, and effort wasted in finding the one. Okey's case is peculiar to a lot of young people out there that are also facing the same issues and currently willing to compromise their stance, spiritual values, personal values to find just the one. Next slide, please. My name is Philip Chime, currently building Aya. Aya is a faith-based dating app that is building against the 3 destructive pillars of the dating scene right now. First, Aya is building against hookup and the Yahoo boy culture, currently tainting the dating scene. Aya is building against the gamification of love cycle in the dating scene, where young people are trapped with endless swipes and matches. Aya is building to become the first self-educating platform that allows users to understand themselves before joining into a bigger phase of life. Next slide, please. How do we onboard our users? It's a guided onboarding process. First, when you sign up, and we have a psychometric test. After taking the test, you create a profile archetype that allows a matching algorithm where it is not guesswork. Secondly, you take a frictionless verification process where you put like a liveness check to help us reduce Yahoo or love scams. Next slide, please. So for now, we've opened our beta testing to selected users, 60 users who are testing and sharing feedback to us. And this feedback, we're actually iterating and creating more value before we go live. Next slide, please. Our business model, we intend to open the app to our premium users who will pay a $4 monthly fee, which will enable us run the business, and also a quarterly event called the Pitch Perfect, which will bring the online community to offline in a simulated and engaging environment to enjoy and meet like minds. Next slide, please. Currently, we'll be serving urban Gen Zs and millennial Christians between the age of 23 to 40 in Nigeria before we move to the diaspora. And we think they care, and we know they care because the world is overstimulated with so many screens, so many dating apps. But Aya is the calm where you come, you see clarity of mind, you understand yourself before meeting your better half. So we are creating a better experience other than just swipes and matches. The cost of not building Aya will make Ekore not find the one he wants. Ekore may settle, which will end up adding him to the growing divorce statistics in the world right now. And if Ekore doesn't settle, he may die lonely as well. So we have so much on our backs to build Aya. Next slide, please. What is this today? Like other apps like Bumble, Tinder, they've done so well in bringing dating to a very good stance in Nigeria. But what we've learned from them is what we are getting better at. First, they have the visuals swipe oriented, which we've also included in our app. But we have added recommendations instead of just swipes, endless swipes. They also added the proximity match. People want to meet people around their community. We've also added that at Aya. But then we made it better with an alignment compass, which they don't have, a profile archetype, which allows you to understand yourself before meeting somebody of like minds. So Aya is better because of what we learned from our competitors. Next slide. So the team of two at the moment, myself, with over 7 years experience working with global brands like LG, Mega Claimer Exhibition, China Home Life. I've worked in selling consumer electronics products. So I understand what it means for, to have customers, to have people, to treat people, to understand what it means. I understand what it means to bring to bring customers around and also sell the product. And Daniel himself is a very seasoned product engineer that I've worked with, that has over 5 years experience and very vast in LLMs. And this is a great team that is ready to do everything to get the work done. Next slide, please. So I'll go to my strategy, which we already started on our Instagram page. It's a short, low effort video, which is conversation-led and relatable and humorous. It's something that people can easily see, remember, laugh at, and also, keep that top of mind awareness for Aya as well. We're also creating a podcast network, which allow like minds to come together, sit down and talk about, the dating scene and what's currently happening and what's, whatnot in the dating scene. A community proof where we create real stories like voice pop on the street, in churches, allow people bring humor that moves audience and awareness to trust our actions. Next slide, please. For Aya, we'll be coming in the next 3 to 5 years, Aya will become that starting point for all value-aligned relationships. We'll become that trusted servant of Abraham in finding the Aya for Isaac. It is value-based, it is Christian-based, and we are sure that, in time, we'll become the #1 in global dating. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Team Aya. This was very interesting to listen to. Saying that Aya is going to become the trusted servant of Abraham. That caught my attention. All the singles in the house, you should look out for Aya. I can see Gbugbemi smiling. All right. At this juncture, we'd like to take feedback from our panelists and our audience as well. I'll start with Mr. Benjamin. So do you have any feedback for Aya?
Thank you, Philip, for the pitch, but I don't have any feedback at this time. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Over to you, Mrs. Suzanne. Any feedback?
I don't have feedback, but well done to the team. I think it's an important product right now.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Suzanne. Okay, Mr. Bolu, this is our third venture. I don't know if you'd like to give your feedback now.
Okay, hi guys. Hi, Auxtoria, SpiritOS, and Aya. I think you all are building very, very incredible products that is necessary for the day. I would like to quickly just tell you something about the startup curve. The startup curve, written by Paul Graham, one of the founders of Y Combinator. And because it almost feels like many of you are first-time founders, you might have built things as an SME, but this might be like your first go at running a startup, and which is very commendable. So there's something called, in the beginning of that chart, I probably will just send it to my friend Joba here, so he could send it to you guys, so you can think through it properly. It's called the startup curve. And usually when you're building something, there's so much excitement and emotion. There's so much. Sorry, I hear that my volume. Okay. How about now? Is it better now?
Yes, that's awesome. Thanks.
Okay, fantastic. There comes a point where there is a wearing off of the novelty when you are building something. So your desire to see this thing through must be greater than your willingness to start. Because by your traction, it looks like you all are still in alpha/beta of your products, and that's good. But I want you to know that the market will tell you what you really need to build. So do not speak in definitives yet until you've had enough or sufficient pushback. And at that point in time, you will realize whether you should keep building, whether you should pivot or persevere, or maybe just even back out. So let me just say something about the business models, because I see that all three startups have like a subscription-based business model. There's a very interesting reason why subscription business models do not really seem to work in Nigeria. Funnily, it works well in East Africa, but not so much here in Nigeria. For example, the only reason people would pay for a subscription in Nigeria is usually when it's tied to a hardware, DSTV as a case in point. It will interest you to know that a lot of people will buy DSTV and not mind paying the exorbitant fees per month because they have a hardware that they need to maintain. However, they will complain that their Netflix subscription is too costly. And so Nigeria has a huge population of people, but very few people subscribe to Netflix when you compare that to Kenya, for example. So you have more Netflix subscribers in Kenya than you have in Nigeria. One of the ways to work around it is, instead of having a subscription model, you could have a credit system where people buy credits. For example, on Auxtoria, they can buy credits to explore certain things, to buy stories, to buy all that from creators. For SpiritOS, they can also buy credits. For Aya, same thing, right? And then just kind of like work it through. Then in all your presentations, you people do not really ask for money. Your servers, even if you're using AWS for free, it will end at some point, whether it's GCP. Ask for money. Don't be afraid. I know it's spirit, it's faith-driven entrepreneurs right here. Ask for money. Don't be afraid. And when you ask for money, don't tell us how you're going to spend it. Tell us how it would take you to the next mile. So don't say you want to raise $50,000 so you can do marketing, you can hire a team. We know you're going to do that. So just say we want to raise $50,000 so that we can reach our first $100,000 in annual recurring revenue, and so on and so forth. Then on your team slide, it would be nice, just for the day and age, to make it easy to raise capital from investors. It would be nice if you have a balance in gender, because I see for Auxtoria, you have 2 female founders. For SpiritOS, you have 2 male founders. For you have 2 male founders. So sometimes when you mix the genders a bit, it helps to increase your odds. And number 3, I hope you guys have founders agreement. Um, um, I'm speaking as a 2-time founder, and I'm speaking as someone who has seen over 1,000 pitch decks and about the same number of companies, because I work with VCs. So and the reason I'm asking you to get a founders agreement is that there will come a time where the push will actually come to shove, where you have to make difficult decisions. And I hope you're not just hiring your friends to be co-founders, but people who are actually bringing real value to your startup. Because what you guys are really building is very, very important. And so all the things that I'm listing is some of the things that can actually break a startup, right? And it will be very sad if it goes public, that a faith-based startup went belly up, not because customers were buying, but because there was founder disagreement. Do you understand what I'm saying? Finally, because of how your businesses are positioned, there seems to be a lot of B2B approach. So for example, for SpiritOS, you're going through the church. For Auxtoria, you're going to schools and all. That is good, right? However, the sales cycle of running a B2B business model is very long, which means that it might take you 4 or 5 months to get a church on board simply because you want their 5,000 members. The problem with that is that you could run out of cash before the church agrees to actually come and do business with you. So going the top-bottom approach, while that is okay, I think you should also focus on the bottom-up approach. Don't be scared to do ads, right? Don't be scared to talk to a lot of people. The truth of the matter is, and I'm sorry, I have to be very blunt. If you go to a church and they say they don't agree, go to their members online. By the time the church sees that 30% of their members are already on SpiritOS, for example, they will call you back and say, oh yeah, let's have a call. Do you understand? The reason I'm saying all this is that I want you to really execute as quickly as you can before the novelty of what you're building wears up in your mind and you get discouraged. Finally, remember that the reason you want to sell is very different from the reason a customer might want to buy. So don't impose your purpose or your why on your customer, but really listen for their needs and try to push that. And don't try to build everything. Just pick that one thing that you feel a customer is eager for, and that's what you should push as your primary value proposition. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bolu. That was very insightful. I want to believe that the first set of our founders, SpiritOS, Auxtoria, and Aya, got value from Mr. Bolu's feedback. We have feedback, some thoughts from Mr. Mayowa, and I'd like to read. It's a 3-in-1 feedback. So let's go. So he says, from a branding standpoint, why Aya? So Philip, take note of that. Secondly, speaking about experience, what makes you believe you're the best person and have the best team to build this product? And finally, I have some concerns about everyone on a subscription model, but that can be addressed later. Team Aya, do you have any responses to this?
Sorry, can you take the second question again?
Okay, the second one says, speaking about experience, excuse me, what makes you believe you're the best person and have the best team to build this product? Did you get the first question though?
Yeah, the branding aspect. Why Aya?
Exactly. Go ahead, please.
Okay. For the branding aspect, why Aya? First is when we were trying to get the name Aya, we checked and we saw agape, and agape is written AYAPE, I mean in Greek. And so AYA fits alpha gamma alpha fits AYA, right? But because of the cultural context in Nigeria, we could not just use aga. People will not be able to pronounce agape as aga. So we changed it to Aya, which also means wife. So in terms of branding, we looked at the cultural aspect as well. So Aya, aga, pronounced aga, but we will retain Aya because of the cultural context.
All right, Philip, do you have feedback for the second question?
Okay, for the second question, why we think, so I've worked in consumer electronics for over 7 years and understand what it means for people to value products they buy with their money. So now I'm bringing this expertise and this experience in building Aya because I understand what it also means to take, to have a lasting product. You have a product that can last you over time because I work with LG. So people want to buy durable product. Now imagining coming into a phase of life where it's a marathon and you want somebody that will be durable for life, like a person, your own person. So in that, that mindset is helping me and my team understand why we need to bring something that is the best. I bring Aya into the market to help people understand themselves first before they go into somebody or a partner that would actually take life serious with them on the long run.
Thank you very much, Philip. All right. I'd like to say thank you, a very big thank you to all 3 founders that have taken their time to share their pitches with us today. I'd like to remind our audience that at the end of all presentations today, there will be a post-networking room that will be open for you to meet each of the ventures and speak further with them. So I'd encourage you not to miss out on that. Before we move to the next part of today's event, I'd like to just do a few introductions. We have with us Pastor Joshua Perez of House Church Abuja. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us here today. We also have Mr. Elijah Aigbe, who is popularly known as the Gong. He's been here from the very beginning, and I'd like to say thank you, sir, for gracing this occasion with your presence. We have here with us Mr. Mirange Pella, who is the founder of INCB. Please, can we give our special guests a round of applause? All right, at this point, I want to believe that the journey has been exciting so far. You know, at the very beginning of today's event, I told us that we are going on a journey, and I asked us to sit tight, fasten our seat belts, and get ready for a very wonderful journey. I want to believe that it has been exciting and worth it so far. At this point, I will be handing over to Mr. Joba Adejumo, who is the managing partner at Greylight. He will be taking us through the Greylight session. Over to you, sir.
All right. Interesting. Thank you so much, Christine, for anchoring so well. And thank you, everyone, for being here today. I'm so excited because this has been a journey coming up for the last almost 24 months right now. We've been on this journey, and more specifically for this cohort, it's been about 4 months working together, and really excited to, really have you all here this afternoon. I mean, I've heard all the feedback so far, and I can imagine how tense the rest of the founders must be. But thank you so much to all our feedback panel for sharing your feedback and everything you've told the founders, and of course to every of the guests that are here today. Thank you for being with us. So very quickly today, I won't take much of your time. I know we've been here for over an hour already. I have a presentation just to share, more on the essentially share on the ideology behind Greylight. Why are we building Greylight? What are we doing? Share a bit more about our thesis as well, right? And just really take us on to that before we go on to the next startup. So I won't take much of our time. Can we go to the next slide very quickly, Damola? Next slide, please. All right, so 3 words, right, before we go on: systems, platforms, distribution infrastructure, right? You think of these 3 words, and the reality today is that many of these systems are unfortunately owned, especially from this part of the world, unfortunately owned by people, or governed rather, by people and systems that are optimizing for nothing beyond engagement and profit, right? Say, for example, just to simplify that, we see today that a child wants to entertain themselves, a mother wants to entertain their child rather, right? And they open up YouTube Kids, and the next thing that you're seeing on YouTube Kids are, values that are not so aligned with what your own values are, and even more ultimately, even the faith-driven values that we're building with, right? And what we then, this essentially led us, or opened our eyes to see a call, right? It was essentially a call for us to build and fund systems that serve human flourishing. We believe very strongly that there are 3 ways to build, right? There's the exploitative way to build, which is essentially what I just explained to you right now. And then there is, of course, the ethical way to go about building businesses and also investing, right? But we dare say that there is a better way, even beyond the ethical way, which is the redemptive way of building, right? Which, of course, is very much related or similar to the Christian values. Can you go to the next slide, please, Damola? So what is our thesis at Greylight? Very simply, we believe that culture follows distribution, right? And distribution is owned primarily by the media, entertainment, and technology systems. What does this mean in simple terms? whatever becomes culture today, whatever becomes normalized today, is essentially what is mostly distributed or most effectively distributed and spread wide. You see, for example, tens of thousands of people talking about the World Cup, right? It then becomes a culture for you to, for example, stream the World Cup, not because you've argued, why am I watching the World Cup, the FIFA World Cup, but because you've seen that it's being distributed across. Everyone is talking about World Cup. Everyone is, interested in the World Cup. That is literally how culture is eventually formed. And more importantly, we believe that, all of these systems, the media, entertainment, and technology, are the ones that govern three things. They govern attention, they govern imagination, and behavior. How do you eventually behave? What do you categorize as norm, right? What do you categorize as default, right? And all of these happens through platforms such as streaming platforms, social networks, community platforms, gaming ecosystems, and even more importantly, digital infrastructure. Now, whoever owns and controls these systems literally hold the key to what the world believes, right? And what we do here at Greylight, particularly with Tangent, right, is that we build and invest, right, in the founders that will own and build these systems. We come very early, and that's why many of you realize that these companies are indeed very early, like one of our panelists mentioned. We come in very early, right, to ensure that we are intervening at the most early stage and forming those fundamental, structures and, systems to ensure that they build with clarity and conviction. Next slide, please. All right, so what do we do here at Greylight? A couple of things. Tangent is just this accelerator or incubator program. As a matter of fact, we like to actually call it an intervention program, right? It's more like an intervention. It's just 1% or 25% rather of the many other things that we do, right? Tangent, of course, is a flagship program, right? It's a venture intervention program for early stage companies that are building the technology infrastructure. Keyword here is technology infrastructure, right? For media and for entertainment, right? You build it from a long-term horizon and more importantly, from a redemptive posture. Of course, we also support the other side of things as well, which are the creatives and the medias, of which you might also see here. We have some people in the creative ecosystem, people like Dr. Foy, represented here by Mr. Samo, people like Elijah, that's the Gong, people like Emmanuel Kubese, who are here at this point in time, I believe, right? We support the media, we support all of these set of people as well. We do strategic partnerships with them. We run programs and we also, of course, fund them, to ensure that they eventually build out a very scalable cultural impact, right? And more importantly as well, we also, run, an investment vehicle, right, through a syndicate where we are currently actually targeting about $1 million USD in deployment over the next 12 to 18 months, where we will use to back both startups, these early stage startups, and of course, the creative and media project. And even, finally, we also, of course, partner with organizations to run venture programs. We design and, run those venture programs for them, for organizations that are specifically looking to, create what we call durable innovation, especially, with long-term impact. Next slide, please. So this has been 12 weeks of formation. And I must, of course, once again, thank every one of our faculty members that are here today with us, right? Like I mentioned, Tangent is not a traditional accelerator. Neither is it, a traditional incubator program. We are essentially more of a venture intervention. So we intervene at a very early stage, right? Intervening to ensure that these founders are building with the right mindset, with the right posture, and of course, with the right foundations, right? To ensure that they eventually come out and, endure, right? To build, of course, what we call clarity, discipline, and execution as well. We've been doing all of this together with our global faculty. We've had growth sprints, across multiple areas of their businesses, from product to sales, to distribution, every single area you can think of. This has been 12 important weeks. And you would also notice that we did not optimize this particular pitch or this demo day rather for fundraising. It's very intentional, just so that these guys do not go out too early to go and fundraise. It's important that they build those foundations, test and iterate, test with users, test with customers, and that's why we're optimizing for them having these partnerships. Next slide, please. So, of course, it doesn't end here, right? The support continues, particularly for these founders and every other future cohort. Like you see on the picture, just on the right of the screen here, just about a week ago, we had what we call the, offsite. It was an offsite meeting with all of the founders, brought them together into a room here in Lagos, Nigeria, just to really culminate and code and, synthesize everything that has been done over the last 12 weeks and make it even more tangible for them. But beyond that, we would also continue to support them with what we call, number one, quarterly camp meetings, right? We bring them together every quarter to ensure that they are on track. Of course, at the end of every year, we bring together all the cohorts that we've worked with at Tangent, right, to what we call the year-end camp meeting. There's also what we call the revenue sprint. The revenue sprint is going to kick off after the program, which is anytime in the next few weeks from now, where we support founder by founder to ensure that they're able to really get their revenue goals. Of course, also provide the market and partnerships access, which is what we're really doing with this demo day, and even more importantly, for the long run, capital access. Next slide, please. What is next, really? Next on our plate, specifically with Tangent, is Cohort 2. Cohort 2 commences in September. That is the target start date, September of this year, right? And it runs for the next 3 months, all the way down to the end of the year, right? The call for applications are going to be open right from this month. So, of course, I'd like for you all to, keep that in mind. And, as soon as the applications are fully opened, we would, of course, communicate to everyone. And we are also targeting the syndicates, the first syndicates to be closed, anything from first quarter of 2027. Next slide, please. So I'm sure many of you might be asking right now, how can you be a part of what we're doing? How can you help? What exactly can you do to just really be a part of what we're doing? Because you're maybe impressed or inspired by what we're doing. So many ways, right? But 4 come to mind very importantly at this point in time. Number 1, for the long run, we're looking at how can we begin to organize capital, right? Capital to invest directly even into these founders, deliberately, intentionally, and strategically, not just deploying anyhow. So this is one way we believe that you can be able to support. Of course, if you are, thinking about investing in companies, investing in young startups like this, of course, or early stage startups coming in at the very early stage, we are your partner for that. Secondly, you can, of course, help us and support us by introducing us to aligned, purpose-driven founders. A question came in, while we were having the session. Someone asked me that, does it mean that we only support, we only build faith-driven startups? So the answer to that question is no, we don't, build only faith-driven startups. Yes, we support, purpose-driven founders that are driven by conviction, driven by purpose, right? A greater sense of purpose that is, of course, aligned with ours, right? But, we, of course, are looking at founders that are working on the technology infrastructure that will power media and entertainment. Of course, that's beyond faith, right? Faith in terms of the kind of companies that they will build. The third way we believe you can also support us is, funding us, right? And supporting us with, in terms of, covering the program cost. This program has been very extensive. It's been 12 weeks, very, very impressive team that we have here at the back of Greylight that have been putting this together. And we are all doing this, with ourselves without any, support in any way. So, of course, we would love for you to, if you're led to, of course, see how to also support us to cover the future Tangent cohort. We're looking at starting cohort 2, like I mentioned, in September, right? If you're looking at supporting cohort 3, whatever cohort you're looking at supporting, please let us know and reach out to us. And finally, we have other programs, we have other initiatives that we're running at Greylight here. So if you would love to be a part of it, do reach out. We're looking for partners, for sponsors, people that will be a part of these ongoing initiatives, whether it's for the creatives, if that's what you prefer to be a part of, whether it is for maybe even the offsite that we are holding, the year-end camp meetings, the quarterly camp meetings, whatever the case might be. I think that's it for now on my presentation. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. I'm just going to close out now. And next slide, Damola. Thank you all for being here. And I look forward to all that will come out of today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye for now.
Thank you so much. Mr. Joba. Thank you so much for such an insightful session, for bringing us into the vision of Greylight and carrying us to understand the amazing stuff that is happening with Greylight. We will now continue with presentations from our final 3 ventures. Virtual drum roll. First off, we will begin with Poysis. Are we ready, Jamala? Awesome. All right. Poysis is led by founder Armstrong Olusoji, and Poysis is an institutional knowledge platform for growing teams and organizations. The floor is yours, Team Poysis, and please let's encourage them with a virtual round of applause.
Hello, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, sir.
Perfect. The first slide, please. My name is Armstrong Olusoji, and I am the founder of Poysis. We build infrastructure to help you turn your knowledge into something that anyone can talk to. That includes you, that includes your team, and that includes members of the public. Next slide, please. Knowledge is broken in the 21st century. If you're a pastor, you have years and years of sermons, hundreds of them, that have answered questions that people still ask you today. If you're a lawyer, you probably still spend time creating research briefs from cases that you worked on years ago. The pattern is very simple. You are always asking questions today that all your knowledge in the past can answer, but you either cannot find those documents or you've completely forgotten about them. In some cases, it is simply too time consuming to piece all that information back together. Next slide, please. This is a problem that we can solve now in the 21st century because for the first time in history, computers don't just store our information. They have the ability to actually understand what is in it. Of course, I'm talking about large language models. AI, you put a document into ChatGPT and it instantly understands the content of that document. Next slide, please. And that's why our product is very simple. All you have to do is connect your knowledge sources. Now, that includes Google Drive, Notion, or wherever it is you store your information. Next, you talk to your entire body of work like you would talk to a research assistant or a human being in natural language. Poysis will give you back answers from your knowledge and cite the specific documents where it found those answers from. Now, the next thing you can do with this knowledge is you can pick different clusters of your knowledge and share it to certain members of the public or even members of your team through what we call notebooks. Next slide. We are building with different kinds of businesses who are using Poysis to do different kinds of things. For example, there's an engineering firm who is using or who wants to use Poysis to cross-reference their user logs with the code that the engineers are writing so that they can ask simple questions like, what did we ship today? And how does it answer the questions that our customers are asking? Next slide, please. Our business model is very simple. You only pay for what you use. You pay for the volume of documents you add to Poysis. You pay for the volume of queries you chat on Poysis, and you pay for each new document that you add to Poysis. It's very simple. Next slide, please. The people we serve have one thing in common. They have a lot of knowledge accumulated over the years, and they are overwhelmed by it. And so we give them the opportunity, or we give them the ability to make better use of that knowledge. We give them the ability to answer today's questions with everything they have recorded or documented in their lifetime. Next slide, please. And so Poysis exists in a sweet spot of knowledge-based tools, enterprise search tools, and research assistant. Knowledge bases like Notion and Confluence that help you capture and organize your knowledge. Enterprise search tools like Glean that help you to search across your knowledge base with natural language. And research assistant tools like Notebook LM that is used for personal research. Poysis exists at the intersection of these three kinds of tools. And so we are not selling features, we are selling an entire workflow. Next slide, please. Our go-to-market is very simple. Our go-to-market is consumer-facing. We use the underlying infrastructure of Poysis to build AI personalities, which we then put on a directory that members of the general public can talk to. For example, on Poysis.com, you would see an AI personality built on the sermons of Apostle Emmanuel Aaron. You can ask it questions and it will respond with answers grounded in everything he has taught. It will also give you citations of the precise timestamps and YouTube video from which the answer was taken. Next slide, please. My name is Armstrong, Olusoji. Like I mentioned before, I build things from scratch, everything from restaurants to software. I am well positioned to manage a team that works across software engineering, marketing, or products because I've done many of these things my own self. Now, I do not have a co-founder, but I work with a series of collaborators who are always happy to help me whenever I need it. Next slide, please. We are looking for introductions to trusted thought leaders and pastors. We want to add their knowledge to the Poysis directory. We can already do this with their public works on YouTube. We can already train these chatbots with their public works on YouTube, but we would like for them to claim it. And so if, for example, you have access to any of these people like Apostle Emmanuel Aaron, we would love an introduction. Next slide, please. Right now, the internet is scattered. There is more information than ever, but it is not curated, it is not targeted, it is overwhelming for most people. Poysis helps the regular individual make more of the information on the internet by helping them curate knowledge that is useful and actionable. That is the world we are trying to build, and we hope you join us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Armstrong. Thank you very much for such a concise and brilliant presentation on Poysis. All right. I would like us to take feedback from our panelists, starting with Mr. Bolu. Mr. Bolu, do you have any feedback for Poysis?
Again, I would prefer to hear all three startups. However, I can quickly just drop this. It would be nice to see the traction that you have. I think it's a very nice product. It looks like a recontextualized version of Palantir. I don't know if you know what Palantir is, Armstrong. Do you?
Yes, I do, but I haven't searched. Probably do more research.
Yeah, it looks like Palantir. It's a Peter Thiel. Yeah. So, but just make sure you position it in a way that you need, because from the look of things, you seem to have thrown a wide net to all the people you can solve problems for, and because all of them have knowledge databases that they don't know how to properly make use of. So I think you still need to find that one customer you can start with, right? And then that's if you don't already have one, and then just begin to solve that problem for them. That's how Palantir began. They started with a particular company, and then they went into the CIA, and then because you'll be shocked as to how many places and how many industries Poysis can be relevant in, but you need to start with one. And then also ask yourself a question: how quickly can I get to $10,000 in monthly or annual recurring revenue? And how quickly can I get to $1 million in annual recurring revenue? Very, very important, so that you know that what you're building, so that it doesn't look like you're building a hobby. Do you understand? I know you build things from zero, but it needs to move from what it shouldn't feel like a hobby, because this is really, really, really amazing. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bolu. Mrs. Suzanne, do you have any feedback for Poysis?
Yeah, thank you, Christine. So well done to you, Armstrong. I think that your pitch was very strong, probably one of the strongest I heard today. And then I also loved how you were able to relate it to a lot of our pain points. So as you were talking, I remembered when I was working in record, I remembered a lot of places I have worked and, issues with storing information and looking for information. So well done to you. However, I think that is also important, if you haven't thought about it yet, that you think about data privacy. I think that's one of the issues that we also have, or reason why people are scared to use AI as well, right? Because they feel, what's going to happen to my data? And with Poysis, people are probably going to be pouring in a lot of data because that's the work you're doing. You're reducing it and making it easy for us to find information, right? So that might be one thing that you want to also focus on, and I think would also eventually be a competitive advantage for Poysis, because if people know that my data is stored properly, then I can trust you to use you over any other AI platform or any other platform altogether. So well done to you and great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Suzanne. Over to you, Mr. Benjamin. Any feedback for Poysis?
Yeah. Thanks for the pitch. I'm more concerned about the ease of adoption. So some of these players or potential customers should be approaching, right? They're already storing data in some way or form. Let's take pastors, for example. They might be storing theirs on Podbean or Podcast, these platforms. How do you plan to integrate with their already existing solutions in such a way that, they're able to adopt you very quickly? Any APIs or solutions to that?
Yeah. So Poysis, as we are always adding sources to Poysis, so it's simply OAuth. You just have to authorize Poysis to go through wherever you store the information, and it will start consolidating the data. But Poysis is not just integrated with where you store information; it is also integrated with where you work. So you can get your information from Google Drive and then use it inside Slack, use it inside ChatGPT, or even use it inside Cloud. And so integration is a big part of what we're doing, just making sure that this information is accessible from anywhere and the information can be, taken from anywhere as well.
Okay, cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Armstrong. You've done well. All right, so I'll just take a few comments from our chat box. We have someone who's interested in, doing more with Poysis, and I'd like to encourage the rest of us as well. If you have this in mind, do well to join the networking room at the end of today's conversation so you can speak more with our founders. I saw a feedback on data governance and management from Pastor Joshua Perez. I think it was in addition to data protection as well. I don't know if Armstrong, you want to say something to that, or I should just move past it?
Yes, we've actually consulted with lawyers, and we are currently working on being compliant with NDPC, that's the Nigerian Data Protection Corporation, and being compliant with NDPD also, makes us compliant with GDPR. So that's what we're doing there.
Thank you very much. Pastor Joshua also mentioned that he would be happy to make an introduction to pastors and tech leaders. So here's a win for you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Pastor Joshua. Thank you, everyone.
Christine, you're muted. We can't hear you anymore.
Thank you very much, Joba. Thanks. I'm back up. Next up, we have Shama. Shama is founded by Victor Wave, and it is an audio content platform giving ministries a sovereign home for their sermons and their teachings. So over to you, Team Shama. Let's encourage them with a virtual round of applause.
Hi, good morning. Can you confirm if you can hear me? Can you hear me, Christine?
Loud and clear.
All right. My slide, please, Damola. Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Victor Wade, and I'm the chief steward at Shama. I'm a platform built to give church ownership to their content. Next slide, please. Today, I'd like to tell a story about a prominent minister of God in Nigeria, who had been preaching on YouTube for over 10 years. But unfortunately, he lost his YouTube channel, which had over 1,000 subscribers with over 3,000 content and over 600 long-form sermons. Same thing happened in 2017 to Sermon Index, a ministry based in Canada, which had over 95,000 subscribers and over 1,600 sermons. These are two ministries with about 10 years apart. They had the same story of having to lose their content on mainstream platform, which wasn't built to support faith-based Christian content. And this is why Shama exists, to fix this problem. Next slide, please. Shama intends to solve this problem by creating a platform. We have a platform where our ministries can upload their content seamlessly. All it does need to do is just sign up on the platform, select their content type, either a song or a sermon or a podcast. Then in about 30 seconds, they have their content ready on the platform at their own terms. Next slide, please. Over the last few weeks, we've been able to onboard about 5 ministries in Nigeria, which have about 2,000 content on the platform. And these ministries actually have a combined audience of over 200,000 members. Next slide, please. Currently at Shama, we are at pre-revenue. However, we actually have plans on ground to monetize the platform. We intend that once we reach 30,000 users, we intend to bring in music and ministry promotions to monetize the platform. We intend to bring in market space commissions once we reach 50,000 users. And we intend to bring in paid live streams once we hit 100,000 users. And even up to 1 million users, we intend to bring in premium subscriptions. Next slide, please. At Shama, we are serving ministries. We've been reaching out to pastors and media directors who have built real-life audiences, but they've been facing challenges of algorithm bias, of cancel culture policies, and different forms of shadow banning on their platforms. Right? We are also looking to serve artists, Christian artists, people who are music ministers, to bring their content on Shama. Next slide, please. So what exists today? At the moment, ministries are making use of platforms like Telegram, Spotify, YouTube, and Mixerloud to host their content. However, the problem still exists. The problem of shadow banning, the problem of their content being taken down because of algorithm bias. Say, for example, the minister which I spoke about recently, shortly after he has preached a sermon on holiness and around the issue of sexual sin, he had this platform taken down on YouTube. Same thing applies to these platforms. Once they realize that your content is actually like against their agenda, is being taken down. And this is why Shama exists, to solve the problem. Next slide, please. So our go-to-market strategy, as of today, we are leveraging on direct relationship with pastors, with media directors to batch upload their content. However, we're looking to see how that we can partner with Christian bodies to accelerate this. Next slide, please. And this is why we are asking, next slide, please, not this. No, next slide, please. And this is why we're looking to see how that we can get introduction to ministries, to media directors, and key personnel within the PFN and other Christian bodies. Previous slide, please. All right. My name is Victor Wave once again, and I'm the chief steward at Shama. And I have about 4 years experience as a live producer. I've produced live events, both audio and video, audio visual for ministries. I happen to be a product designer. I've worked with a Christian faith-based organization, exactly a social platform where I led their devotional plan, which was successful. And we also have 2 members of our team who are also top software engineers. Next slide, please. Last slide. The next 3 to 5 years, we are looking forward to having Shama to be the default home for Christian content across Africa and the diaspora. We're looking to a time whereby Christians will not be afraid of losing their voice on mainstream media. Thank you.
Please, can we give Victor Wave from Shama a virtual round of applause? Thank you very much, Victor, for your presentation. Before we get right into our feedback session, I'd just like to give a shout out to a few of our guests who joined us in the course of today's event. We have with us Mrs. Funke Alomo Oluwa, who is the founder of Voice of Destiny Academy. We also have Mrs. Fi Ogunlesi, who is the managing partner at Regal Stone. Thank you so much, Maz, for joining us today. You're very welcome. So at this point, we'd like to take feedback from our panelists and the audience concerning Shama. I'd like us to begin with Mrs. Suzanne. Mrs. Suzanne, do you have any feedback for Shama?
Yes. Thank you, Christine. So well done, Shama. So from an institution's point of view, being in the faith industry, I can relate. They took down our platform twice, and it was very painful because we had to start from scratch. So I understand why we would want to come on board Shama. But from the customer's point of view, I'm actually quite curious what you are offering that would make customers want to leave YouTube, Spotify, those platforms to be on Shama.
All right, thank you very much for that question. So the very first thing is that the platforms which we have today, the mainstream platforms which we have today, they are not faith-based. Say, for example, you wake up in the morning, say you want to have your devotion, right? And you get on YouTube. There is a very, very high chance that at the end of the day, you spend your time having to doom scroll, watching things which might not even, help your faith, right? Say, for example, you intend to spend 30 minutes on YouTube to watch maybe your sermon. Before you know it, you have ads disturbing you, and even these ads could be non-faith ads, which are kind of polluting your mind too. But on Shama, you won't be having in-stream ads to disturb you. All the content which we have on Shama will be faith-based content. Additionally, we're also looking to see how that we are going to be integrating AI in the platform, whereby you are able to grow your faith using a personalized AI. Say, for example, someone is actually struggling with addiction, right? We're looking to a time whereby you can just easily come to Shama and say, hey, I'm struggling with XYZ, and I'm looking to search for content that will help me recover this addiction, right? With our AI based on the content that we actually have on the platform, we'll be able to suggest to you the content which can help you recover from the addiction, right? It can also create a library for you, a playlist of, say, a 30-day journey for you to actually to move away from the addiction. So all of these are the things which we actually have in place, which is what the existing platforms are not solving today.
All right. My other question is, so going back to the institution part of it. For instance, my church, we have a platform already, right, on YouVersion. So many churches are actually starting to build their own platforms. So my question to you is, how are you going to be able to convince them to also be on your platform, right? So everything that you've mentioned, they can also avoid that on their platform. That's why they are building their own apps and all of that. And my church is doing that, so it's not like it's far away from me, right? So how do you intend to also navigate that?
All right, coming down to your question, the first thing which you mentioned around YouVersion is actually a devotional based stuff, right? You don't have to post audio content or long form sermons, just the same way other platforms would host, right? Also on the issue of churches having to, say, for example, your church actually has their own platform where they can host their content, right? There's also the concern of having to give access to as many people as possible. The platform which you actually have is actually like kind of limited to the church. Say, for example, I'm not a member of your church, but I'd love to benefit from the content from your church, right? Say, for example, we have about like 100 ministries having to own their own platform. There's going to be the issue of interoperability in the content, right? Every platform, every ministry would actually have their platform, which is not going to be like suitable for members to listen to, right? So there has to be a centralized platform where all of this content can live without the fear of algorithm bias or content being taken down.
All right, thank you. So I would say I'm half sold. I'm not fully sold. And that may mean that you need to continue to refine your competitive advantage.
right.
Maybe another person may be fully sold, but I'm still sort of halfway sold. But well done.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Suzanne. Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Benjamin, any feedback for Shama?
Yes, just one feedback. So you want to have pastors, ministries, and the likes remove their dependence on secular platforms. Well, distribution is key, right? So even though they might have their own platform, where they don't have to bother about their content or messaging really being taken down. They still want to leverage a platform where, there's adequate distribution there. At Faith Driven Entrepreneur, we have an app actually, but I mean, you'll find us on LinkedIn, on Facebook, on IG, heavily distributing our content, and our contents are sometimes very raw, like convicting, right? But yeah, we haven't had much. Yes, of course, sometimes we have issues with it being taken down or whatnot, but that's the frontier distribution. We've hacked it. So in your case, right, how are you thinking about distribution?
All right, thank you very much for that question. So currently, we are leveraging on partnership with ministries. Personally, for me, I've worked with ministries over time in terms of their media production, both audio and video, audio visual. So based on the relationships I've built over time, I'm leveraging on that to onboard these ministries. We are not really focused on the members coming on the platform for now. And that's going to be the second phase of the product, right? We're looking to see how that we can onboard ministries in their numbers to have their content on the platform. Then it's going to form a viral loop once we push it out to the audience. Since the ministries already have their content on the platform, it's going to be easy for them to actually have their members come to the platform. So I'm looking to see how that we can secure partnership with organizations like PFN and the likes of that, to for them to have, like, bring in their members to be part of Shama.
PFN bringing their members. Well, that's still quite limiting in the sense of distribution generally, but yeah, perhaps maybe household as well. But I think it's something to keep refining, actually. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Mr. Benjamin. So I believe, Mr. Bolo, that we're going on with the last venture before you give your feedback. Am I correct?
Let me chime in here quickly.
All right, please go ahead.
Victor, I want to let you know that what Mrs. Susan and Mr. Benjamin have said is not to poke holes in your armor. They're just helping you to critically think through your idea very dispassionately. The truth of the matter is, when it comes to things like this, and I was listening to Mrs. Susan speak, and she sounded like a very professional customer, right? Because I mean, almost everybody's product here, she has had a personal feel on it. And so let me speak to what she has said about, YouVersion, because what you seem to be running on a lot of assumptions that have not been verified yet, right? Again, when you build a product and you put it into the market, your market is, I can't even tell you what you have done is amazing or not, because what you're building looks a bit like DistroKid for the music part, so you have to think about rights. It looks a bit like Creators by Spotify. You know how you can upload your sermons and sermonette on Spotify, and then it distributes to every other person, whether it's YouTube, Apple Podcasts, via their RSS feed. You have to really look at how distribution really helps you increase your business, your opportunity revenue. So the only way I can tell this will be worth building is when somebody parts away with their money, right? So you need to look for how you can generate revenue very quickly. But let me give you context. What you are building from one ministry alone, where they have at least 1,000 sermons, the cost of storage for just that one ministry is a lot of money, and I can tell you for free that VCs will not just dump money at, and you cannot say that our moat is data, because it's not your data. You're just warehousing people's data for them. YouVersion has 1 billion downloads by now, just in case you did not know. And they are a non-profit founded by Life Church. And they only rely on donations and the personal wealth of the church itself, right? Faith Driven Entrepreneur is owned by Henry Kastner. He's a mentor to me. His money, man of God, sir. I'm just telling you, it is money. So if you cannot generate revenue by 2 p.m. yesterday, it will be very hard for you to scale this thing and keep running on the long term. So I want you to really look at your value proposition again, right? And be sure But more importantly, the best feedback you will get is when somebody gives you their money and say, hey, we love what you're building so much, take our money. Without that, it will just be a hobby. It needs to be a need to have, not a nice to have. It needs to be a painkiller, not a supplement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bolu. So, I hope Team Shama, you've gleaned from this helpful feedback. At this point, I'd like everyone in the audience to take a deep breath and then give us a virtual round of applause in the comments, because I am pleased to let everybody know that we are about to have our final presentation. We will be taking a presentation from the last venture, Audora. The founder of Audora is Tolani Abiodun, and Audora is a music promotion marketplace for independent African artists. Over to you, Audora. Let's please encourage Audora with a virtual round of applause.
Hi, Christian. Please confirm you can hear me.
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. A few months ago, an artist left the Dapper music label, and everybody praised him for leaving. Oh, it takes bravery to walk away. It takes courage to go independent. Only for him to return after 2 months. And the same people who were praising him started criticizing. What do you mean you went back to a label that was maltreating you? What do you mean you went back to a label that was cheating you? Why did you go back? And then somebody I respect so much in the industry said something that stood with me. They said, I don't know why people are criticizing this artist. Independent artists can't make it on their own. It hurt, mostly because he was not wrong. Daniel is one of those independent artists. Daniel spent months in the studio creating the best song of his career. Oh, this song is going to be the hit song. People are going to love this song. And here finally he released it, promoted it to the best of his ability and waited. Days turned into months, and the song was barely discovered or barely heard. And I can tell you for a fact that Daniel's biggest challenge wasn't talent, it's discovery. And millions of independent artists are going through the same reality today. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tolani, founder of Audora. We believe that artists should not have to choose between creative independence and getting discovered, and that is why we created Audora, a platform that helps artists get discovered by professionally managed influencer campaigns. We strategize, connect the access to the right influencer, and we execute so that artists can focus on what they do best, creating music. Let me take you to what we built. Next slide, please. We built a platform where artists can sign up, upload their song, tell us their goal, and pick a package, and we handle the rest. Next slide, please. Currently, we have 4 artists who are testing our platform and 9 who have joined the wait list, pending when the platform goes live. And we have established beneficial relationship with 2 influencers. Next slide, please. Audora serve artists who, Damla, please, next slide. Hi, Damla, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I think it's your network, you're lagging because I'm at who we serve, according to your voice. Tell me what you can see, please. Hello?
Hello, Tolani. Can you hear us? Okay, I think our network has kicked her out. But Jamala, can you hear me clearly?
Yes, perfectly well. I can.
So it means
Okay, thank you.
maybe
Sorry about that.
Okay. All right, Tolani, are you back? Can I be heard?
Yes, I apologize for that. But there are some
Please go
artists who create music independently, who lack a strategy on how to promote themselves properly and need a professional to handle their promotion. Next slide, please. Today we have different platforms where artists go to promote themselves. Of course, these platforms are good, but they are limited. For example, there's none of these platforms that have human revised promotion strategy, especially the do-it-yourself. After you reach out to an influencer and you give them their song, you don't even know if they're the right influencer for your song, and then they end up doing something that people do not even know. People do not even know you from what they have made. That's the gap Audora is coming to bridge. We are giving them end-to-end management where they get to see everything, that's every promotion we are doing just from their dashboard. Next slide, please. Our go-to-market strategy is simple. We're partnering with recording studios, producers, and we are also creating content, educational content for artists. We are creating memes that artists can relate to, and we're planning to go to campus to onboard the uprising independent artists. Next slide, please. The team consists of myself, my chief technical officer with 7 years of experience in building digital platform, and my brand strategist. Next slide, please. What we need is introduction to trusted music leaders like Dr. Foy, Mr. Tunde, because these artists tend to trust familiar faces more than just the new face they are seeing. So please, if you have connections to any of these people, please reach out to us. Thank you. Next slide, please. The goal of Audora is simple. The next global superstar shouldn't have to be somebody in a label or someone who has top connections to the industry. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Tolani, for such a concise presentation. Thank you very much. At this juncture, we will be taking the final set of feedback from our panelists and the audience as well. I think we'll begin with Mr. Bolu. Mr. Bolu, can you share your feedback with us?
Well done, well done, well done. Again, no matter how interesting an idea is, the best way to tell is customer feedback. They're ultimately, a panelist cannot really tell you, because I mean, I personally have seen quite a lot of amazing, brilliant startups who have amazing ideas, but maybe just fail to execute, right? So I need you to go out there and just because you didn't say that you've generated any revenue yet. I don't know if you have, right? Have you?
No, we haven't launched.
Yeah.
We haven't launched this one.
Okay, so try and get your first dollar in. I remember when I built my first fintech startup, the first 10 naira we actually made 10 naira, our first revenue. It was exciting. It was stupendously exciting. And then later we can get $30,000 and then more and more, right? So if you can get your first dollar or your first naira or your first kobo in, it might be a good indicator that you should keep doing what you're doing. My job is not to tell you that you have a brilliant idea or not. My job is not to validate your idea. My job is to give you clarity and tell you to look out for certain things. And what I'm telling you to do is try and get your first dollar in before you get any partnerships with Dr. Foy and so on and so forth, because the streets out there is not smiling, right? And you need to make sure that it doesn't just sound you need to make sure that Audora doesn't just sound like a PR agency that is just built on tech, right? So you need to position it pretty well. Again, get your first dollar in. For me, that's really, really what matters. And I hope it doesn't sound like I just want money. I want money for you, right? There are two ways you get your business funded, either by private equity or by your customers. And your customers are the best people to fund your business because they're the ones who will tell you that what you're building is really solving our problems. And then again, how do you decide music, and this is a hypothetical question or a food for thought. You don't need to answer. Yeah, because if 10,000, best case scenario, if 100 musicians reach out to you, they pick a package, right? How do you ensure that their music is actually really worth sharing? Because anybody can come and sing anything, and they pick a package, and you've promised that you're going to deliver, right, to 1 million people. How do you ensure that what it is, what their music is saying, is actually worth hearing? You know, it's something I think you should also think about. Thank you very much, Tolani, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Mr. Bolu, for that feedback. Do you have any other feedback concerning the other two ventures, or what you said earlier works? Just confirming.
Sorry?
No, I'm talking to Mr. Bolu. Mr. Bolu, do you have any other feedback for the other two ventures, or you've said your piece? Okay, I don't think he can hear me. All right, we'll move on to Mr. Benjamin. Mr. Benjamin, do you have any feedback for Audora?
No specific feedback at this time, but yeah, really enjoyed the pitch. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mrs. Susan, anything from you for Audora?
Yes. So interestingly, Audora, I've been using AI a lot, and then I found this platform where I could make music, and I made music. And I cannot sing, by the way. And I had found a streaming platform that told me, oh, we're going to stream the song on different platforms. And I waited almost 3 months, and then they got back to me and said, oh, we need to refund you because we couldn't do that. So I think that there's a huge market for what you are doing outside of the promoters that are doing great work. And on the other side of what Mr. Benjamin said, I love that your go-to-market strategy starts with campuses, because you can imagine the amount of creatives that are there with the tools that are available to everybody now, the amount of people that are making, new songs. I think I was being on social media the other day, and I heard 2 songs that were trending were AI. They were made by AI. They were not made by they were not actual people singing, right? So we even have AI songs that people are loving and using and are trending. So I do think that, maybe you might want to look at the markets that you want to focus on, or rather the audience that you'll be focusing on. Maybe you shouldn't be competing with the likes of, Don Jazzy and Co. that find the best artists and they stream their music, or you have a way that you're able to partition it. My fear, however, is, so you had very detailed value propositions, by the way, which I loved. I think that was one of your session was one of the clearest that I've seen today. But then you had mentioned human-centered. And when you say human-centered, right, especially when you're trying to scale for tech, I'm actually wondering, when you start to scale, how are you going to be able to manage that, right? How are you going to be able to manage that to ensure that, whatever you're doing is still efficient, even if you now have to handle it from the human factor side of it, right? I hope you get my question. But then again, I'm excited about your product, because people like me that go on AI and make songs, we can now make money. So well done to you.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Suzanne. Thank you very much. Tolani, do you have anything in response?
No, for now.
Not for now. Thank you very much. Okay. I'd like to say congratulations, first of all, to all of our 6 founders for a remarkable job done today. Well done, well done, well done to you all. And then I'd like to say a very big thank you to everyone that has stayed with us from the very beginning, or from the middle, or from the tail end up until this point. We'd like to encourage you to please hang around for our networking room so you can further speak with our founders. At this point, I'd like to thank everyone once again. We are excited and honored that you spent your day with us today. And Mr. Joba Adejumo, our managing partner at Greylight, will join me on stage to give the closing remarks. Over to you, Mr. Joba.
Amazing. I think I've really enjoyed myself, but I don't want to be biased because I mean I've worked with these guys for the last 3 months plus. But has any other person enjoyed themselves today? I think I'd just like to see if there's any feedback in the room. Anyone else? I can see a few already. Amazing, amazing. Thank you all so much for being here with us. Again, the work that we're doing here is only just getting started, right? Like I mentioned during my presentation. And if you missed it, of course, we'd share the recording with you once this is over. But the point really is that the work we're doing is just getting started, but our intention is clear. Our agenda is clear, right? Our motive is very clear. And just not to bore you anymore, would invite you all to be a part of what we're doing, right? To invite you all to be a part in any way you can be, whether you want to, just support a founder. I mean, I've gotten a few messages already about some people being interested in investing in some of the founders here already, right? Or even with regards to introducing them. I think one of the most important things for us at this event was for us to see how can we, get these founders their very first customers, right, from this demo day, for them to begin to test, right? And I believe this platform has already really, created an opportunity with some of the founders already. So again, I just want to say a very big thank you to everyone for taking out your time, taking out 2 good hours, over 2 hours of your time, on a day like this early in the week. It's definitely not taken for granted at all. We really do appreciate you all for being here with us. The networking room will open right now. So if you'd like to meet any of the founders one-on-one, you can just go into the breakout rooms and have a conversation with them. So founders, you can go into your breakout rooms now where you see your name, meet Aya, meet Shama, and all of that. You can go into your breakout rooms now. But at this point in time, I think we can just close out. Thank you very much. Over to you, Christine.
Thank you, Mr. Joba. To everyone here, I'd like to say a final thank you for being a part of our demo day. Remember that the networking rooms open right now, and we encourage you, please make time to interact with our incredible founders. My name is Christine. It's been a pleasure doing this with you today, and I hope to see you at our next Tangent Demo Day. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
Holding the plumb line, everything is gonna be fine. Small beginnings, great ends, on the Holy Ghost depend. By no, no, by power. Put down your sword. The battle is not yours to fight. Step into the other side. Let the Spirit take the lead. That is all you need. Holy Spirit, flow through me. Power and authority. I surrender my control. My role, Spirit, oh, breathe on these dry bones. Turn hearts of stone. Says the Lord in this very hour. Put down your the battle is not yours to fight. Step into the fatherless light. Spirit, take the lead. That is all you need. By your spirit, only by your spirit. I let go, I let go. Yeah. Springs of hope. When the silence is way too deep, and my promises are hard to keep. When the melody is all but gone, and it's difficult to carry on, I hear the strings of hope begin to play. They're chasing all the gray clouds away. A symphony of love and love that tells me it will be alright. The sound of the streets of gold. It's a sound I can't explain. Comfort in the midst of all the pain. A harmony that lifts my weary head. Believe in every single word you said. I hear the streets of hope begin to play. And she plays and all the gray clouds away. Clouds away. Symphony of light that tells me it will be alright. Sound of the streets of oh, they swell and rise and fill the air. A message